What's happening? Spent quite a bit of time last night working on some trees and things. Gracias. Bell. So I figured out a way to grab the LOD groups for trees, alter the original prefab, and refresh the terrains to effectively change their groups. I get it. Yeah, I'm still pretty sure you can't do it with speed trees. Because they do some weird stuff where they calculate their light maps and things. Even in the editor, that takes a few seconds per tree. So I think in the long term, and maybe today, I'm going to get rid of speed trees. Not necessarily right now, but I do want to implement what I found yesterday into another video settings thing. And let me just I'm gonna not post. What do I want to do here? I want to delete. I actually want to direct people to Twitch more than I want to direct them to YouTube or Facebook. It is nice having these copied to YouTube automatically, though. So this is basically the gist of it. So let's see. The first thing that I need to do, and this doesn't need to happen per terrain, we just need to refresh the terrains. We're changing the original prefab that all of the terrains are referencing. So we should be able to just go to something like the terrain manager. Somebody has, maybe it's the procedural watcher or the network manager that should do this. Somebody that's got references to all of the trees. Actually, I don't think the net manager does. Trees are not spawned across the network, so he does not. Baby John, what's the matter? What were you freaking out for? You woke your mom up. Ohayou gozaimasu. So, and I closed the storm shutters last night. It was a crazy windstorm, so I'm not getting as much sun as usual today. Need to go open those. I'll do that at 10. But let's see now. I know the procedural terrains, and I believe the terrain controller. No, he doesn't do that anymore. The procedural terrain. No, I think it. Oh no, it's procedural prefabs. That's what it is. Not the watcher. Procedural prefabs. I take it back. He's not doing it either. There's somewhere that manages the trees to make sure that they stay in the same order. I thought. Oh, and what's the matter? Tree index. Who all uses this? Procedural area. Procedural terrain. Tree index. Yeah, there it is. Add trees. So this goes on not per area, but per terrain. I've got a kettle over a stove. I just want to double check that the water is not draining out of it. Yeah, that's good. It's just starting to boil as well. So this grabs all of the procedural prefab trees. Okay, that's fair, but we don't want to do that there. We do want to do it right here. So we've got access to all of the trees in game. And I need to store their original settings, especially in the Unity editor, because these changes in runtime actually change the original files, which means in the editor, if I change them, it would actually change the files that I'm exporting out with a patch. And we can't have that. So let's just make a new method here to, let's say, store tree LODs. BB John, what's the matter? What's wrong? BB John? My cat is freaking out. Void, what was it? Prepare, store, tree, LODs. So basically what I'm going to do is, let's see, where was it that we were, procedural terrains. They're setting up the tree index, or they're using the tree index. So you're telling me I have set these all up manually? Surely not. tree index 20. I mean, there's no way I did this manually. Who is signing those? I'll leave that open for a minute. Tree prototype, no. Procedural prefab tree. Tree.tree index equals I. So this is changing that per terrain. That's a little silly. I guess it's already got access to it, and it's going to do the exact same thing for every terrain. I wonder if there's a way to speed that up is all I'm thinking, looking at it like this. But don't think so. So that's not too bad. But anyway, I don't want to use that, I don't believe. So what do we want to use? We've got a prefab name that would work. I think that's what all we have to work with actually. So let's go through for int I equals 0, I equals less than trees dot count, I plus plus. So we're going to loop through all of our trees. This is before the level even starts loading. Store tree LODs and now I'm thinking, what if we're loading a game and we want to load in a user that has changed their LOD settings? It might actually be something we want to call prior to that. I'm going to go ahead and make this public. I'm probably going to call this from somewhere else before this guy even actually starts himself up. But we'll see. So we're going to go through all of these, and let's see, I'm going to make a dictionary. Procedural prefabs. Yeah, I don't really mind leaving this here. Let's make, do we want a dictionary or do we just want to do a list? I mean, we've already got everything right here. I could just store it more nart. Stew. I could just stick the data in the prefab itself. Is that like a slip of the hand, or is that an expected result? Eye stuff is scary. No fun having cataracts, though, I'm sure. It would be minimal. Yeah, I'm going to actually go ahead and put this on the prefab here. This might be useful for some stuff. Oh, that sucks. Your eye itches. I had a guy that I worked with that got a fishing hook in his eye, and it got into the white of his eye, and they got it out, and they fixed him up, but it was fine. It didn't damage, like, the important parts of the eye at all. But, ooh, it's just the grossest story. I'm going to do a public list of floats called original LODs equals new, like this. And do I want this public? I mean, I have to access it, so I want this to be non-serialized, I guess is all I'm thinking. I don't know if you can see that I had surgery on this finger, my left middle finger. I used to be a sushi chef, and we would sharpen our knives every day. And one day I was talking to my most beautiful of customers, and I cut my finger. And I actually cut a tendon and a nerve, and so I had to get some, pretty good surgery done on it. But they wrapped these fingers up like this so that you can't move it because the tendon has to heal. You can't, if you move this or this, it actually messes with the tendon of the middle finger as well. But I had my pinky, so I was playing Counter-Strike with my pinky. I had the mouse with my right hand, and then I could push just one button at a time with my pinky. I think it actually might have been my thumb too. But we make do. Do what you can. I used to play a lot of Counter-Strike. That was like 15 years ago. So yeah. I'm gonna not store it here. I'm going to, let's see now. We're gonna need to do this that I figured out yesterday, via grabbing the LODs. I don't think I need you anymore. So first I'm gonna get the procedural prefab of the tree at our current index, and then we're going to do tree dot prefab get component LOD group. And so we're looking at something that's not actually instantiated in the game. This is just the backup data that everything works off of, which is why this is kind of dangerous. Nice. Yeah, man, LAN games were the best. We used to get, 6 or 7 guys together with all of our big tube monitors, and all hook up to the LAN and play video games for 48 hours. Back in high school. That was just about the most fun in the world, to be honest. Yeah, we had net back then, but it was, I think that was still like 56K modems and stuff back in the day. We had some of the later LAN parties. No, we had, what's it called? ISD, I forget what it's called. It's a cable internet, I forget. So now I'm going to not be setting anything here. I'm going to grab all of the LODs and tree, and I'm going to loop through it. For int L equals 0, L equals less than LODs dot length, L plus plus. So I'm going to loop through all of the LODs, and we're going to save that on the tree prefab. Tree dot original LODs. Let's do a clear once. Make sure this is empty. And we're going to add LOD's L dot height. That's really all we care about. Okay. Now where do we call this? Used to play, I started out as early as Doom on like 1440 modems. You had to use up the phone line to play with. That was back like World of Warcraft 1 days. Or not World of Warcraft, was it? Just Warcraft. Warcraft 1. It's good stuff. Nail bothered me. So I'm going to call this somewhere. I guess we could do... Let's go... Okay, so... yeah, we'll not do that one for public. We'll do another one that's public. Void. And we're going to do... alter tree LODs. And for this, I'm going to... Let's see. I haven't really worked this out in my head, but I think we can just... divide everything based on a percentage that the player provides. So say we want to move all LEDs down 50%. That should be fine. Yeah, this won't change trees at all. What I'm doing right now is just giving the option to decrease the distance that levels of detail change. So right now, billboards, for example, it'll only turn into a billboard, which is the lowest quality and fastest to render, if it's only taking up usually like 3% of the screen, so only when it's really tiny. But if somebody wants to, this will let them turn that up to, say, 20%. So it's not, you're not close to it. It's still only like that big. But it'll be way sooner than 3%. And that'll speed it up. Or you can even multiply them, so you can turn the quality up too if you want to. So into this, we're going to feed multiplier. Right. You can turn it up or you can turn it down this way. And this is only for trees right now, but really everything has an LOD group on it. So we could set up individual sliders. These are all stored in their own separate groups here: vegetables, animals, monsters, etc. So if this works good, we can totally let people tweak this for everything, which is, of course, ideal. The more options, the better. So when we alter the trio LODs by feeding in a multiplier, we're going to do something very similar, but we want to grab the tree, we want to grab the LOD groups, we don't want to clear the originals. We want to, and I might need to go through these backwards. I probably do, don't I? Yeah, we could make the mounds cut through the grass. You mean the grass is going into the mounds, or you mean the grass is covering the mounds? Morning, Stop Nut. So you're saying I should make rabbits bigger? You know there's snails in the game? I don't think I've ever seen a snail. They're so tiny. But they don't have unique drops yet, so that's fine. So we're going to use the original LODs. And yeah, I do want to go through this backwards. LOD.length -1. As long as we are greater than or equal to 0, we're going to go backwards through this. And we're going to use our new LOD L screen relative height. We're going to set it to tree.original LODs L, and then we're going to multiply it by the multiplier. And I'm wondering if this is going to throw errors. Yeah, rabbits and snails do not need to be realistically sized. I agree entirely. Don't have huge pointy teeth for the rabbits, unfortunately. We could work on that though. I'm worried that if the LODs are too close together and you try to change the last spot up to 200%, if it goes over the next spot in the hierarchy, it throws an error because they then fall out of order. Don't know any way to deal with that though. But no, I think that's acceptable. It doesn't throw the error until you send it back in. This is just an array of the LODs that nobody cares about. When you do set LODs, however, that is when it matters, which will have been after these have all been applied, so that should be fine. So, alter tree LODs, float, let's see. And actually I'm not going to use that. Let's go ahead and make a game setting for it. Audio, video, gameplay. I suppose that's video. Public, let's kind of make it its own bit here. Public static, float, tree, LOD, multiplier equals 1 by default. And we're going to want to be saving this, so I'll go ahead and open up settings data holder, add it into here. And we want to make sure we are saving and loading it along with all of the rest of the data. So tree LOD multiplier equals game settings dot tree LOD multiplier for saving, and loading game settings dot tree LOD equals SDH dot LOD, like so. And I don't think, what I really need to do is add like a little help mouse over to these setting UI things that I'm spawning. But I'll set it to be a maximum. Let's see, we're going to add, I'll add it above shadows under texture quality, and it's going to be float input tree distance multiplier. And I can set the minimum and the maximum here. So let's say like 0.25 is the minimum, probably. And why not with 3 is the max? I think that's kind of overkill, but we'll see what it does. Yeah, I was thinking of that. We could do a switch so that it's like near, far, or like near, normal, distant, or near, normal, far, and very far. You might be right. That might be better. Tree render distance. And we put that down here somewhere, like so. And so maybe we'll change that to an integer. And by default, we'll have it at 2, right in the middle of 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And procedural terrain. Well, I do kind of like letting people fuck with it if they want to. But I assume that we can turn this into VR. I mean, you just have to add a second camera, really. It's just got to be decent performance, but with all these performance settings, you know, if you turn everything way down, I can already run the game at 100 frames a second. You know, and the more we work on this, and if I get rid of speed trees too, and some things and this and that, you turn everything down, should be able to run left and right eye at least, I would say at least 100 frames a second on a really good computer, which I don't have. But yeah, let's try Stu's suggestion here first, which means we're gonna have to open this back up and change this to an int with a default of 2. And let's see. So yeah, we're gonna use that based on what we get. So let's say we're going left, our LOD multiplier is equal to, if we're at the maximum of 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. We're gonna move it down to 3. And we're going to change the LOD left text to be far, like this, and then we're going to do an else if for 3, 2, and this one is just going to be an else. So here we've got 3, 2, and then that's 1, so this will be normal, this will be near, and this will be, maybe short is good. Nah, near is probably better. Very, very short. That doesn't sound right. Very near. And this will be 0. This will be 1, this will be 2. And then after that, we will call player script controller client dot managers dot terrain manager dot procedural watcher dot procedural prefabs dot all the references alter tree LODs. So this will go in and actually grab them, and I believe I will have to add a flush to the terrains in there, and that is just fine. But let's go ahead and set up our write method first, in which case we're coming from either 0, 1, 2, otherwise we're probably at 3, so we're going up to 1, 2, 3, or 4, which is now near, normal, far, or very far. And that should work for that. Did I pass everything in right? I need to do this. Switches. Okay, we'll do an if. Tree render distance, LOD left, tree, looks good. If game settings, LOD multiplier. Let's get rid of you guys. Do switches, LOD, switches, LOD. Go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is again near. That's very near. Near, normal, far, and very far. And let's see. So that will get loaded in before this stuff gets called. So we'll store the tree LODs, and then once we've stored them, we will alter the tree LODs based on whatever game settings have been loaded when this stuff is all getting started. And this is going to be let's see, float multiplier equals 1f, and then we'll do a if game settings dot tree LOD multiplier is equal to 0, then the multiplier equals, let's say, down to 30%. We'll just go ahead and go with 0.3. And so we can change these, see what works. Maybe we'll do like 60%. And 1. And this will be like 1.5. And this will be like 3-ish. I don't know about that, but we can try it. So that'll go through, change all of the originals. Now we're gonna want to do terrains equals find objects of type terrain, grab all the terrains, and then for int I equals 0, I equals, equals less than terrains dot length I plus plus. We're gonna loop through all of them, and we're already, we're still in here. Don't need to be in there. This does not need to be in there either. Hey, Wreck-It. Yeah, this will work with saves. This won't require starting anything new or anything like that. If your game crashes at 90 stopnut, that probably means you're running out of RAM, memory. Do you only have like 4 gigabytes of RAM, maybe? When it gets to 90, that means that it's finished loading the level. And then at 90 to 100% is just it actually churning everything on. So it's done loading everything off of the disk. It's just, it stops at 90 and then flips everything on, and that's what makes it go to 100. Nobody else having that problem though, so low FPS in a goblin dungeon, huh? I'll have to look at that. Those should be pretty fast. So really all I need to do here is terrains I.flush, I believe. And I might actually not even need to do this. Let's go ahead and try it without. And I think we are good to go. Again, this is... Oh yeah, no, so we're not good to go. How to do this? So the problem is, if I change this in the editor, it will change the original files. So I need to have it do something like void on destroy go through everything and reset them to their originals. Now, if the editor crashes, that's still going to mess these up. Maybe I should not let anything call this except for me. Oh, when you went to do a goblin dungeon, not inside the goblin dungeon. Yeah, I know the, like the swamp, it's got so many trees in it, it definitely runs a lot lower FPS for me. And again, those are speed trees. They're really expensive, big complicated trees that are supposed to be optimized for desktops. But people just complain about them nonstop. And you can't do any of this stuff in real time. It's just a real letdown. They're pretty, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to get rid of all of them. It's just not worth it. Thinking like, can I make a button to store the tree LODs? None of this. Every time I store, let's do something like check tree LODs. So we're going to grab this, and then if tree.original LODs.count is greater than 0, then you go ahead and return. Not return, I want you to continue. That'll loop to the next. So what this is going to do is it's going to go through and see if there's any new trees that don't have any original LODs set up. If it finds anything, it's going to set them up. But only if their original LOD count is 0. So that's good. I think that is actually what I want to do. I just want it to do it once. And if I add a new tree in the future, this will get called before this gets called. So it'll store the original. And I can turn this back on if I need to manually update something. But let's see, so now this will return them on destroy. And this will also always be using the original LOD, which is only ever actually getting set here, so this should be safe now. I believe. If I don't keep this safe, like I say, it'll alter the original files here in the editor, and then when I export a patch, everything will have changed, and I do not want that. Oh, look at that. My willows actually are not speed trees. That's cool. I thought they were. That's from a swamp pack that I bought. Anyway. So let's just look at this. 1:13:25. I'm just going to take a little snapshot of that. Swamp willow. And let's start it up. Oh, I'm in beta. Shoot. Hate it when I do that. What have we changed? We added that. Dang it. We did not mess with you. I did mess with you. Well, that's fine. Let's just copy some of these out. I want to be working on production. Go ahead and just discard all of this so I don't have to push. I copied all the major changes, and I'm going to switch to production. Alright, Unity is going to want to reload. Kitties are happy. Yes. Okay. You're gonna need to reload too, which you did. We'll add that. Let's see, procedural prefabs. Paste you in. Settings UI. We'll paste you in. And game settings. We will paste you in. Good ol' copy and paste. Now we need to fix save. I didn't do that one, was it? Public int triviality multiplier. Et voila. Okay, now we're in production and everything is set up to check tree LODs, store them, and nothing is actually calling alter yet, is it? When we change settings, okay, we are calling it. Let's give it a try. And I took a picture of swamp willow. Make sure we don't break that. And source control is watching all of that stuff too if we need to hard reset stuff. Let's go ahead and push actually, just because of that. We'll push before we test just to be safe. This always takes a minute. Gets stuck for 5 seconds from whatever it's doing. Safety push, tree LODs. And single player, multiplayer world. Okay, so I think pretty much all of the trees that I use have LOD groups, so I don't actually use the terrain settings, which Unity trees would use, but nobody likes Unity trees. Let's see if we can't find a better vantage point. Like, well, yeah, that's not terrible actually. Maybe we can build a little set of ramps or something. Let's just go up a little bit. So we're looking out at a bunch. These are almost all speed trees, which means that it's not going to work. We'll give it a try though. That's why I want to replace the speed trees. I put it under texture quality, didn't I? Where is that? Tree render distance normal. Near. Yeah, that didn't change anything. Let's go to somewhere where there are not speed trees, like the mountains. There's some mountain dealy that I go to often here. Okay, these are not speed trees. Let's see. Does not appear to be changing. You can see these have most definitely changed though. And there they changed again. Oh, they are changing now. Okay, very near actually looks like it's going backwards. Normal, far, very far. Why does this not look like it's changed at all? Only very near is taking hold. So it doesn't like something that I'm doing, but it's not giving me any warnings. Very near is actually pushing things further away. Oh, Let's move it back to normal. Actually, let's not move it back to normal. Let's go to very near, and then when we close, it should reset this. Right? Good. Did. So I think for one thing, we got our numbers backwards here. The multiplier is going to move it up, which means it's going to cull faster. 0.6 didn't work. 0.1 didn't work. Or 1.0 worked. Well, Tree original LODs. That's a float. That's a float. That's a float. That's weird. Let's do if tree dot name is equal to swamp willow, or is it willow 1? T slash willow 1. Oops. Right? T willow 1. If the tree is a T willow 1, I want to debug log the tree dot original LODs at whatever point we are currently at right here. And I'm gonna do, I don't think I need to be going backwards anymore with this, we determined. So let's say less than LODs dot length, and we'll do plus plus, and I'm gonna debug that here as well with a space, and then I'm gonna do it, let's do 1 comma before and 1 comma after. That'll give us the index, what the original LOD is, and then what we're multiplying it into. But these are most definitely backwards, so let's see. 100. So this should be like 160. 1.6, 1.3, 1. And then this guy can go down to 0.6, 0.3 maybe, I don't know. Kind of making these numbers up, but we'll see. Let's try that. No, it was doing it only for the... 始めてない？誰にもらったん？違うよ。違う。ばあちゃん。ん？あ、そうなの。どこ行くの？まあ偉いと思ってるの。かわいそう。Wife has to go to the dentist. She's not pleased. Yeah, it was working. Only with the one setting though. I should have saved up in the mountains, shouldn't I have? No teeth? Surely you jest. I go to the dentist twice a year because I have socialized healthcare. Whoa! Normal. Let's do near. Before and after are the same. What is going on here? Multiply. Oh, yeah. You see here? Look at this. These are all zeros. That's not going to work. 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys are supposed to point that stuff out for me. Let's move you back to normal. Save up in the mountains. Leave. Yeah, I've got one amalgam tooth, unfortunately. I didn't have money or insurance in the States. So I didn't go to the dentist for like a decade there. Ended up getting some root canals and things when I first moved over to Japan because my teeth were not in the best shape. I take pretty good care of them though, and now I take very good care of them. Thanks to, only costs $20 to go to the dentist now. So, normal. An error has occurred. What does it matter? Yep, I thought that you would set LODs. Attempting to set. And let's see, it called that before the debugs, but that's probably just the way the threading works. Before and after still the same though. Well, let's go back to normal. Yeah, let's get there. I might need to do something like this. If multiplier is less than 1, I really don't like Google always flashing me. I looked. Settle down. Yeah, the slider is just doing this is very near, this is normal, this is far and very far. But yeah, like I was doing things backwards earlier. I think, let's see, so if we're making things bigger, we want to start at the back and move it this way. Right, so yeah, we were doing it the other way. Otherwise, we actually want to be going in reverse. so that we don't step on our own feet. So again, LODs dot length greater than or equal to 0, and we'll go minus minus. So that'll go backwards. So it'll start at the right and move to the right as it goes, or it'll start at the left and move to the left as it goes, making sure that things don't overlap, because that's the error that it was throwing there. Index out of range. I probably broke it there, didn't it? Alter tree LODs. 173. Yep, sorry. That's -1. I'm kind of banned from Chinese food at the moment. I've been having stomach problems. My wife knows that the tastier it is, the worse it is for you. I've been eating a lot of soup and yogurt and stuff. I actually have a appointment today to get looked at for the first time since all of this started. Before and after, still the same. What's up with that? We clicked left, we were at 2, we should move down to 1, and we're now reading, did I click weather collision? Sorry. Yeah, that's not what we were trying to mess with. Tree distance, near, bunch of errors. Okay, well, before and after. Before and after, before and after, before and after. How to figure this out? It doesn't seem possible. And it only happens when we set LODs. 178. It's not during the actual placement, so it shouldn't matter. I'm confused. Tree.original LODs, the same position times multiplier. We shouldn't need this stuff, because it only happens here. Before and after printing the same, though, it does not make sense. These will print out regardless of whether this works or not. And we don't need to do this, we've confirmed. It was working there originally. When we went to very near, and that's still not working either. Normal works. Far thinks that it's working, but it's not. It's still doing the same before and after. And we can look at the willow itself. far, very far. That worked. That changed. Let's go back to far. You can see the billboards turning on quicker. And that changed. Normal worked. But when we try to go to near, it's changing it. But it's throwing errors. Very near is also working, but throwing errors. It doesn't look like those have updated, though I suppose they have. Might need to look down a little bit more so we can see. Let's turn to the side a little too. Near, very near. I don't see any popping going on. But the LEDs are changing. It's confusing. That looks like it did change something there. Like I say, we need to be looking a little bit closer somehow. Normal. Yeah, I don't think these are applying, even though it shows them applying here. This is very clearly working. So when we do 3 and 4, we're going less than 1, like this. When we go upwards, just doesn't like that. Even though I'm going forward. Yeah, beef and broccoli, I could go for some of that. Chinese food over here is different too than, American Chinese food. We have Japanese Chinese food, which is, I mean, there's some of the same stuff, but there's some different stuff too. They had a TV show on just like last night or the night before about McDonald's in different countries. It was pretty interesting. All the, I think it was Beijing. And like everything had sausage in it. Like the burgers had 2 sausages on top of the patties. And they had a like a hash brown with a big sausage in it. And it looked really gross to me, but apparently that's like good cheap food in China is, or in that area, is sausage. So they put sausage in everything. It was weird. Not what I expected from China. This just doesn't make any sense. Why is before and after the same here? We're using it, it's only erroring with the positive multipliers, so we're taking this 0.5 and we're multiplying it by 1.3, making it a 0.65. We're taking the 0.25, multiplying it by 1.3, making it that. I mean, none of these are gonna jump over one another. And LOD 0. Oh, they're actually in reverse. So that's what's going on, huh? Small one first. 3, 2, 1. Well, no, yeah, because I'm going through them backwards on purpose. But I guess we are going in the wrong direction. Three, two, one. When we're multiplying them up, we want to be going from the left. So we want it like this. And I turned it back to normal, so we should be fine, and it'll set them back when we leave anyway. Let it recompile and try it again. But yeah, I don't think I've ever seen beef broccoli over here. That's a bummer, because I love beef broccoli. Or the orange chicken. They don't have orange chicken over here. They don't have lo mein either, really. Or chow mein. Which is kind of weird. Maybe that's just an American thing. And there's a lot of Taiwanese, Chinese restaurants. Just not the norm over here to have that. They just have different stuff, you know. Tree render distance near. And those are updating correctly, but still, I'm just really confused why before and after are debugging the same. That makes no sense. Before and after. I guess we'll debug the multiplier. I mean, it's obviously changing. So I don't. And then far and very far just magically work for whatever reason, no matter which direction we go. It's weird. Just wants to be fussy. So I don't think, like I said, this actually matters, because it's not until they get fed back into the actual group that that check is going on. Let's sit up and get serious. I need to go open my blinds. Cause I closed the storm shutters last night. It was crazy. Gale winds going on outside. What's wrong with you, sir? Why aren't you doing this? Look at this. I'm just reporting the original LODs. Of course that's not going to change. Ugh. Tiny mistakes that we've noticed when we sit up straight. There's that, and let's go ahead and we're going to add the multiplier in just for kicks. And I think that's going to show us that they're not stepping on their buddies. I don't know why. Mountain silk coal. Probably. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I do want to keep these mountain trees because these are not the speed trees. These are normal trees. So the speed trees don't work. So let's try it again. Normal, switch to far, trees render further out. Let's look at our frame rate too, and this is always terrible in Unity. Don't pay attention to it like it's a real thing. And it's probably capped at 30. I think that's my Radeon settings. Let me turn that off. Yeah, there it jumped up. Very far, we're at 48-ish. Far, we're at 48-ish. Near normal, we're at 48-ish. It's not gonna be a big improvement for everybody. My computer renders these just fine, but let's see, and a bunch of errors. So why does it do that? Before and after, 0.5, 0.625, 0.25, 0.325, 0.125. I mean, none of those are, oh, this one is, no, yeah. None of these numbers are going bigger than previous before numbers. So I don't know what it's talking about. And of course, this is going on for all of the trees. So there's probably just some specific tree that's doing it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trees. 7, 8, 9, 10 trees out of probably 20 or 25 different types of trees that we've got. Let's try and figure out which one of the trees is having problems. And let's see. We're going to do a try catch here. And this is going to use exception E, which I don't actually care about. I just want to debug.log the tree.name, prefab name. Let's see who breaks. Who's the bad apple? Times 10. Yeah, greater than, moving them up is working. Moving them down isn't working. And that's probably understandable. Like, there's going to be some specific, like if the LODs are like right next to each other on some of these, I can understand that. So, this is not where we wanted to be. We were at the one just above this. Coal and magical. And let's go ahead and save here. And nice view. It's just gonna break anyway, but we're just trying to see who's breaking. And the catch did not work. It's just going to throw its own debug error and not actually pass an exception, is it? That's really useful. Thank you, Unity. Super helpful. And it's sending those out without, like on its own thread somehow, prior to the debugs getting handled. So we have no way of knowing who it's talking about. Whatever. Let's just go take a look at a bunch of them. We got our trees up here. Let's look at some of these guys. Let's see, LODs that are too close together. This could do some of that, couldn't it? Maybe it's the furs themselves. How come these shaders aren't working? It's just a preview, huh? Who's good at math? I'm gonna turn my Radeon settings back on. Whoops, cancel. So we're gonna do 0.6 times 1.3. That's not gonna cross over. 0.8 times 1.3, 1.04. That's gonna go over, but okay, so let's look at this one. Fur medium, fur 03. Let's look at you, sir, not the willow. Still shouldn't matter. I'm gonna turn my stove off here. It's nice and warm. Good kitties. I need to go open my shutters, but no big deal. Kind of tempted to just keep them closed during the winter. Keep better insulation. The insulation in this house sucks. And it's mostly just the windows. They're single pane windows. But it's a house. I'm grateful to have a house. Video near. We're looking at. Did the debugs even go off there? Yeah, they did, right? Yeah, they went off before this time for some reason. It's kind of interesting. One went up to 1.3. 8.8 went up to 1.04. This is what I'm talking about. 0.8 went over 1. The rest of those are fine. So if we look at the fur itself now, it's not even going to show it to us because it didn't accept it, huh? Now, the thing is, this little editor dealy here that Unity has built, this is 1.0 right here. And I'm trying to set this to 1.3. But I downloaded a bunch of assets yesterday that had stuff set all the way up to 4. Or I think 4 was on some of them. They're like really tall trees. So if they take up 400% of your screen height, only then do they go to the highest level of detail. Which means, you know, because if you're backed far enough away that you can see 100% of the tree, it doesn't need to be at full resolution because you're not actually looking at the bark. But then if you get to the point where it's using up 400% and some of them were 200%, some of them were like 140%. And at first I thought they were broken, but I talked to the guy that made them. And he said, no, it's just so that when you get up to it, just that the Unity little display here is crap, and they only ever built it to handle up to 100. And I was messing around with it last night and it worked fine. I did run into this error, but I was, like I said, this is an array of LODs here that we're messing with. We alter the LODs inside of it, and then we pass those to the deal. So, I mean, we'll remove any existing LODs configured on the LOD group. So it's not like it's going through them one at a time. It should just, of course it won't let me look at that because it's internal. But, you know, I'm preparing. Or is it treating this as a reference and it wants me to do them one at a time, maybe? Get LODs dot to copy to. Oh, that's kind of the point, yeah, is to let people be able to turn it down so they can get better performance if their computer's not handling the trees well enough. What if I... So this totally didn't work. We'll get rid of that. What if I make an LOD array called new LODs, and we make it the length of the old array, and new LODs get set and fed in here. So now we know it shouldn't have any understanding of our operations taking place right here. That's not enough though. We need to copy over the rest of the data here, which has a few things in it. Let's see. New LODs L dot fade transition with, sure. Equals LODs L dot fade, and likewise the renderers we want to just copy over, and that's just a list. It's an array of renderers. That's fine. So now we are doing this completely independent of the original array, which I guess is the only thing I can imagine that it thinks we're messing with it in real time. Weird. It's doing the before and after the same again thing here. Oh, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's an LOD 0 in there that's not showing up. Hmm? I'm going to open up stuff I was working on last night and peek at those again. It just is not working as I'm expecting it to. See if I go too far, look at this, LOD 0 shows up. And it does have renderers in it, which means it should be a part of the LOD array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's only printing out, no, it is printing out 0 to 4. Our latest call is showing 1.8. Yeah, that's not the latest call. Why is this not clear? Go to... Did I get this wrong again somehow? Oh yeah, we're doing new LEDs now. Okay. But still, see if I go back to normal, you can almost see it there, but it's not printing that out. It's starting at, go ahead and restart it so that we can see the change there properly. This is the old one, this is the new one, which looks like it didn't help us at all, but oh, and that's a structure anyway, so it can't be passed as a copy or as a reference, which is why this doesn't make sense. I'm just assuming that it is, there's like a LOD, see there's a hidden LOD there that it's not printing out. What's up with that? That needs to be a part of the array. Or is that just assumed somehow? But like, how would you be able to access the renderers in runtime if you had no access to the 0 position whatsoever? It doesn't make any sense. Tree render distance, I'm gonna go too far. 0.999 goes down to 0.6. That's LOD 1. Where's LOD 0? It starts at 0. It's got settings, fade mode, renderers stored in it. It should be part of the array. But it's not giving it to me. We're looking at LOD equals 0. An array can't go into a negative index. It always starts at 0. We're going to the length. That's all proper. LOD group. Get LODs returns the array of the LODs. But it's not doing it. It's a big fat liar. There should be one that's at... We need to Google this. Unity LOD group. Let's say LOD array not containing, or let's say doesn't contain index 0. And I'm probably not going to find... What is this? Passing index less than 0? What are you talking about? Force LOD. Will return to standard LSD process. Yeah, okay. Nobody cares about that. LOD. Construct LOD. That's not what we wanted. LOD group. Get LODs returns the array of LODs. It's all inherited stuff. The number of LOD levels. Worthless, worthless, worthless. This is from 2012. And it's probably not going to help at all. Let's start up a question in Discord as well, because I'm not getting expected results here. Unity Dev community is an awesome place to go. Let's see. Maybe we can answer a question for somebody too. But if the player doesn't work, crashes. Does this repeat? Yeah, it's only random. How can I get information from a Unity web request and implement it to the player? Those are different things. This has nothing to do with Unity web requests, dude. Don't know what you're talking about. And that's just a void. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, hi guys, I'm making a research about saving assets on build. Players are going to import their own models. Can you propose me some suggestions? It's a cool looking icon. I mean, just go look that up, dude. And then we'll ask our question. Question, I'm trying to read LOD group, LOD array using get LODs, but it's not returning position 0, resulting in an incomplete array of LOD structs, which breaks set LODs if you change the LODs to, yeah, I'll just leave that out. And then who I was actually talking about with this last night is nature manufacturer developer Bart, who is a cool dude. He's been in some Unity talks. But anyway, let's, did I open that up? I did. So these are the trees that I'm thinking of replacing the speed trees with, and there's stumps and bushes and lots of fun little stuff here. Even some nice looking mushrooms. But I closed chat, so I can't see anything. What's going on? How many dogs have that? I'm on Twitch. What you talking about, White Dragon? I'm slouching again, aren't I? You can't see me on Twitch for some reason?
Yeah, if you're new here, it's like the beat your mod. So today they're doing the drag race, right?
Yeah, I can see myself. What you talking about? I'm gonna close that. Anyway, I missed chat here. The max LOD level to 0. I do have 4 cats. 2 of them are just outside of range of the camera. It's Malcare in on Twitch, Malkere, and there's a link in Discord too. But anyway, so take a look at some of these. See here how that's going way off screen. What am I missing here that Beach Trio 1, and of course the Unity stuff is just terrible. There's no way to tell which one that is. There it is, Prefab Beach Tree 01. I want it to just print out. I've got a little script on my camera here that I was working with. Let's open that up. And let's see, what do we want to do? I think actually I'm going to turn you off because you've got all that. That took a while to put on there. Let's make a new terrain. Let's add a new tree, and we'll just add, why did you go to the bottom? Let's add that tree there. Thank you, Art. Stu. Flutter butter butt. What's happening? So I'm going to add terrain 3, and I'm going to do this. Terrain 3. It's going to grab the only tree that's on there, and it's going to debug. Let's see. They don't even store. Okay, I'm just not going to do a for each. For int I equals 0, I equals less than LODs dot length I plus plus, and I'm going to, let's see here. I'm going to debug I plus LODs at I. So it's just going to show me all of the, got all kinds of stuff open here. It's going to print out all of the LODs for that tree when I hit start. Thank you. Oh, I don't know why it always says this viewer count just never seems to work. I don't know. Oh, there, it updated to 5 viewers. Cool. I don't know if that's correct or not, but yeah, there's let's see if I can show you. Oh, and I got lost trying to figure this out last time. Don't play myself, scare myself. Creator dashboard, insights, achievements. So path to affiliate. This is what I'm working on. I've got enough followers. I've got enough, way more than enough hours, enough days, but amidst all of my hours, I don't have enough viewers. So that will help me raise this number up. And that unlocks Twitch affiliate stuff. But anyway, so see here, 0 is at 1.2. Which we can see by looking at it. It's off the scale here. But even then, that is not level 0. This is level 1. So what does that make level 0? I'm just confused by, I mean, that's like overriding level 0. Maybe I want to just not use set LOD at all and manually replace them. I'm assuming that this get LOD thing, this is an array of structs, but the array itself could be a reference. Get LODs. Let me see what the other options it's got here. LOD count. Force LOD, no, that's not what we want. Get LODs. Set LODs. Like, what if I don't call this at all? And I don't use this guy. And we go straight for LODs. And we actually don't need to do these guys in that case. So I'm grabbing a reference to the array, hopefully, which, you know, they don't let us look at this stuff, so I don't know if it's actually giving me a reference or a new array, but we can test that out with this. So I'll recompile this. So we're just going to be altering the list directly and not even attempting to set it using their built-in method. And let's see if that changes it. We've got it selected here already. There's got to be some way to switch it like we showed in the assets there. Doesn't look like they've changed, but it does show before and after. But they're not changing if we don't call set LODs. I kind of want to ping Bart. I'm getting errors that an LOD in the array is going over a higher LOD in the array because the array doesn't actually contain... Well, and you know what? Let's try and do that right here, actually. Because I was doing this last night, and this is Unity 2018. This is Unity 2019. I wonder if they changed something to try and stop people from doing that, which would be mighty nasty. And you can write your own LOD group script too. There's alternatives to it as well. Yeah, let's see. I was going through and just grabbing the first one. Let's go ahead and do it. Alpha 3, Terrain 3. Grabbing the single prototype. Grabbing the LOD position at 0. Let's debug it, which we've already done, so we don't actually need that. And it's at 1.2, so I'm going to set it to... You know what, let's just grab it, and then let's just set it again without changing anything. And I want to see if it's going to throw that error, because it's already above 0. And we figured out we don't actually need to call that. I don't even actually have any trees on the terrain yet. I suppose we could put some down there. I'm not actually changing anything, but... just for the heck of it, I will grab it and do mass place, and we'll just do like 500. And click play. That'll clear the stuff out of here for us and show us 1.2. And now I'm going to hit 3. And that has called set LODs using 1.2. So, let's go ahead and do what we're doing here. Something similar, anyway. We're gonna do equals And again, we're going to mess this up if we don't reset it. Screen relative height equals terrain 3 we're working with now. It's just LOD 0 that we're messing with, huh? LOD 0 equals, say we change it to 1.3. And then we're going to set LODs, and on destroy we're going to return it to what it should be at 1.2, so that all looks fine. I'm just going to turn all of this stuff off. Make sure everybody is using terrain 3, and we are. Looks good. Prototype 0. See, I just don't want to, and I can just re-import these if I need to, but hold on. Why is this at 100% now? Did it force it back to there? It did. Interesting. So he said that he was doing them, he set them manually. So I suppose that means, I better ask him. Like I said, how did you set the LODs manually? Use of set LODs forces them within bounds of 0 to 1. Even just calling, like we saw, and I'm messing these up progressively, but like I said, I can just re-import these if I need to. So we're gonna just look at changing this tree to number 2 now. And he is currently, like I said, we hit play, we'll see that he's at 1.7. So he's way up there. And just looking at that doesn't mess it up. And all we did before was grab it and then set it, right? That's all that we did. And that messed it up. I'm just going to confirm that before I say that out loud to Bart. So, again, we're not actually changing anything. We're just grabbing it and then putting it back. That's all we're doing. But in doing so, it has moved it back down to, we can see there, 1.0, even though we just fed it back in. So that's not nice. Sorry if you're busy, Bart. Answer in your own time. How did you set the LODs manually? Use of set LODs forced them within bound of 0 to 1. Let's do a little Google foo first, actually. Yeah. When you move one eye, the other eye is going to be moving too, no doubt. Unity, manually setting LOD. this is all going to be crap. Blah, blah, blah. Speed tree, LOD trees. Let's see. Manually setting LOD. Let's see. How to set LOD above 1.0. Screen 1.0. There's a good question there. Create and manage LODs. Change to billboard. Trees and game built. Level of detail management. Creating LOD group for character. This looked like a good question. Yeah, this guy did not run into this. Ran into the same hacky way of fake it being above 1. Bart has achieved this somehow, though, obviously. Not what we're talking about. What was that at the end there, actually? I'm in LOD script. Yeah, we can script our own stuff if we want to, but... Yeah, I'm going to ask Bart. How did you set the LODs manually? Use of set LODs forces them within bounds of 0, 1. Even just calling get and then set back the same array resets everything to within bounds. Using set LOD forces the LODs within bounds of 0 to 1. But I have assets that go above 1.0 intentionally. Tall trees. And can't figure out a way to keep them from reverting back to 0 to 1. Good old community support. I'm trying to think if there's some way that I can serialize this stuff forcibly. Because the Unity, this stuff is all built into the engine. It's not going to let me mess with it. But if I were better at editor code, I bet I could find a way to do that. This is all the beginner garbage. Editor script, there we go. Current active LD using screen percentage. That's not what we're talking about. Editor script. I had the same issue. Found the render dot is visible is not subject upload solution here. Let's take a look at that. LOD group extension I just removed. That was necessary. I've been in editor, which is probably what this guy's talking about. Use as a screen percentage, not distance. That was a good question, but not a good answer. Editor script to modify LOD groups with set LODs. Before, this guy's kind of doing the same thing. If I call this However, once previously saved, looking at the group is not correct. Public class. What are you trying to do here? Get the LOD number of a selected game object. Return the game object. Return LOD group. Index array. Find index LOD is where render renders. Returns the currently visible LOD. Don't need that. Returns the currently visible LOD level. Don't need that. Get relative height, distance, max LOD, LOD count -1. World space, no. LOD group parent, LOD group. Get LODs. It's just not an actual reference. There's nothing public. Yeah. Did I ask Bart? I did. How did you set the LODs manual? This dude is probably just talking up his own. No, Mad. This is the guy I was talking to last night, isn't it? No, I was talking to Imbusi. Curious what this guy's typing. Nothing up here yet. What to do, what to do. This is, yeah, there's an alternative to the default script, which is basically going to be doing the same thing. Some people even claim that they have stuff that's faster than Unity's checks. Let's take a look at that. Not like I want to go through and assign new groups to everything, but let's just take a peek. Yeah. $40 for something that's built into the engine for free. Probably has 0 sales. Oh, creates an LOD system at runtime? What? Yeah, I don't think so. There's a lot of silly stuff on the asset store. There's a lot of mummies on the asset store apparently. It's just giving me everything and anything that has LOD anywhere in it, doesn't it? Auto LOD, I think, was the actual name of an asset that I kind of wanted to look at. Nope, it's still just going to show me anything and everything. Nice cars, $5. What to do? I don't want to do this all day. If this doesn't work out, I'm going to go to lunch here in half an hour. We'll move on to something else in the PM regardless, but Cat-like coding has some smart stuff, definitely. He might touch on that if we're lucky. This is just doing what the manual tells you how to do. What's he trying to do? Before I post the actual script, I'm supposed to actually have the script. So create a new LED group. As long as one game object was selected, a second or more game object, the section above is raised. Yeah, he's just looking for nulls there. He's not doing anything fancy. That's broken, isn't it? No? What is this? LD Group Editor. Unity Technologies. C# reference source code. I don't see set LODs in here anywhere. This is the editor script, isn't it? Editor, mono inspector, LOD group editor. It's not the actual internal. I don't know if I can find that. That would be nice though. GitHub. Unity C# reference. Can I do a search within this for LOD group? LOD bindings, LOD utility. What is all of this stuff? LOD. Fade mode. This is the struct, which is great. LOD group, there it is. Set LODs. You're not actually going to show me how that works though, are you? Has explicit this. What does that mean? I don't know, but that's not. There's no options in set LODs itself. Nope. It's definitely what I was looking for, but native header, get LOD group manager. I want to look inside of this though. Set LODs. Maybe I can do a search for that. Yeah, only finds what I already looked at. LOD group bindings. I did just open these. Let's take a peek. Set LOD does not exist. Calculate. No. What is this? LOD group GUI. That's just the slider stuff. It's not going to be changing the actual data. Screen percent. Does I equal 0? Calc LOD range. 216. Total rect dot width. Yeah, this is just the drawing stuff. Shoot. So close. Unity C# reference set LOD. We want this. Nope, I did not mean that. Scripting API. Programmatically, that's what we're doing, but core module, what is this? China. LOD group, we already saw this, didn't help. I'm doing a difficult subject. Sorry. White dragon. Add LOD models to LOD group programmatically. That's fine, and he's doing that there. Core module, not at all helpful. This guy thought I was pinging him for some reason, I guess. That's nowhere near his name there, but sure. Well, it doesn't look like I'm going to get any help on this anytime soon. Isn't this the Unreal Engine display? What am I looking at here? Unity and Unreal 4. Okay, I don't know what that is. LOD group, Unity Engine C# code examples. That's just more people doing stuff. Well, sorry for getting stuck on this so hardcore. Yeah, cat-like coding I did kind of want to poke at, because this dude's pretty smart. Probably not. Pushing stuff beyond what it's supposed to be, though. He's messing with shaders. There's definitely some way to do it, because Bart has done it. But I'm not seeing how to go about it. Let's look at it in debug mode. LODs. What is this? Is that what's going on here? Well, I can't do that in runtime though. Size 4. Relative width 2.1, 1.1. Screen relative height 2.1 and 1.1. Yeah. So if we go to the ones that were messed up, this one went back down to 1. So you can do that manually here. I could put this to 1.5, whatever it used to be at. And then I switch back to normal mode, and there it is. But that doesn't help us in runtime. How can we access that data forcibly without, let's see, serialize the LOD group. There was that one thing that we ran into back from 2012. Annual, what was it? Manually set LOD group. It's unlikely that I'm going to run right onto that again, unfortunately. I don't know the actual search that I made. Manually serialize LOD group. LOD ground is not what I was trying to type. I'm going to respond to my own question here. Edit. I see you can do it in debug mode. Now just to figure out how to not be forced to use set LODs in runtime. So basically when we go into debug mode, it's really just grabbing the data for us to look at. So that means this is all serializable. There's clearly an LODs bit here. It's just private. Or we would be able to access it via the L group. lgroup.lods is not available to us. Is there some way that I can extend that script? This is all just kind of stuff I've never messed with before, unfortunately. LOD's nuts. That's what I should give Unity the finger. It's just terrible they don't let us mess with stuff more. They want to fit everything into their box. So much of the terrain stuff has problems like that, and people are like, we know how to fix it, just let us fix it. And then they don't for... It's been years now for some stuff that still, they're like, we're working on it. And what's this one that's obsolete? Deprecated. I'm gonna just use you and see what you do. 'Cause you're there. What are you doing? Oh, it's deprecated. Look out. I'm going to grab, and then I'm just going to set back again, and it's probably going to give me a warning, but it's still going to let me do it. Where am I missing a... Oh. Don't need that. Let's follow up on ourselves here too. Edit. Okay, so in debug, in inspector debug mode, you can access the data directly and push the values to whatever you want. Just trying to find a way to do that with code in runtime. Standalone build, so that I don't have to go through set LODs, which forces everything into 0 to 1. Any ideas how I can go about doing that? Writing programs to write stuff for you is a very good thing to do. Getting machines to handle stuff for you so you can just tell it to do something is highly preferable to actually doing something yourself if you need to do it 100 times. It's definitely what I'm trying to do here, more or less. Because I got a bunch of trees, and I'm going to be adding more trees in the future. I want this to be able to handle all of them forever, for always, no matter what. Let's see. We're currently making use of Beech Tree 2, whose LOD I fixed manually. So we should just be able to hit play. I'm going to select it and look at it again. And we're at 1.5, and I'm going to use the deprecated dude, and now that does it too. Missing game object has been destroyed, but you're still trying to access it. Tree test 28, whatever. They don't work anyway. 28. Nope, that's still totally accessed. Whatever. I don't know why that 28, why did that error? Nobody cares. It's only going to become important for these guys. As far as Solace Crafting is concerned, yeah, you can, I mean, it takes years to do it, but you can program from scratch. That's certainly possible. I know there's ways to like extend scripts. It's not something I've ever gotten into. Unity overwriting an internal script. How to prevent script instances overwriting. Hey Shauna. What's happening? Thank you for the like. Confusion around right approach to override. I'm not actually overwriting. I'm looking to extend, basically. No, I didn't want you to do that. Search for overwriting. Feature request, callback, list. You gotta be very specific with your wording here. Unity. Extend. How to extend an internal script. That was way more basic than what I was looking for. Extending instead of replacing. Where to install your assets. Internal class inheriting. I'm not talking about inheritance. Said it almost doesn't matter the wording you use. You're just going to get a buttload of beginner tutorials. This is Kama Sutra. Actually could be a pretty advanced topic here. You want to extend a method. Extension methods are declared just like regular functions. They must be static. They must be declared inside a non-generic, non-nested static class in C. I've made lots of other games, but nothing I've sold or put up for download anywhere. And nothing in over 4 years, because this is my full-time job. And there are actually other games that I work on in private, in my free time. But not necessarily, no. They include a special syntax, blah blah blah. Though declared as static, this is invoked as if it were an instance method. My game object set layer recursively. Note that when we call the method, we actually omit the first argument and skip straight to the second. That's true. This game object. I'm happy to try. Yeah, I'm not trying to override. I'm just trying to extend. Let's see if we can do that. Not right there. Well, the three of them will fit in there just barely. Our girl Katie doesn't like to sleep with the boys. Let's do LOD group extensions. Nice kitties though. And open that up for me, please. I'm going to using Unity Engine. I'm just going to copy what he's doing here. This is LOD group extensions and public static void set LODs. This LOD group and we're going to feed it an LOD array called LODs, and I'm just going to give it a bool so that it's not overwriting the exact same thing. Let's call this force set LODs maybe. And so now, can I do group.lod? No, I'm trying to get inside of the class. This LOD group. I need to get into its private variables. But let's just see, that should give us now a force LOD, force set LODs, there it is. That's the extension we're building, that's cool. But that still doesn't help us if we can't access the data directly. 12 o'clock. Time for lunch. Let's see if I can just take this one step further. Let's do a search for Unity accessing private variables via extension or something along those lines. I know this now makes them available in the extended class but keeps other classes from extending them. Is this what protected modifier is supposed to use? Yes, that's correct. One of the basic principles, use it again and again. Why is it using it incorrectly? Yeah, that's not an extended class, that's just an inherited class. Not what we're talking about. Accessing private data members, cannot access private setter using reflection. I'm not a master of reflection either. I'm happy to use that. Can see access private methods. Most of these are going to be super beginner questions. Extends, setter, override, super. Sounds like you should be using the protected modifier, not what we're talking about. Again, not virtual methods we're looking to be messing with. Function get component for. If you want an exact type, not what we're doing. This looks like an old bug. There is this kind of stuff that I think is what we might need. Type of derived, get property, auto disembark. This is just nasty stuff that doesn't even work. Let me try. I don't actually even really know what's going on here, but see if we can't jump on this wagon a little bit. Type of LOD array, get property, LOD. Why was there a space there? If you look at it in debug mode, it's going to show us the private variables that Unity won't let us see in any of their manuals. LO space DS. That's weird. There's no way that's actually what it's called. That's just the editor trying to figure out. It's just because that's lowercase, it added that space in there. So it's called LODs. Binding flags. What is this? System. Dot reflection maybe. And property dot declaring type. Get property dot name. I don't know what's going on here. Get type of LOD array. Get property public binding flags. That's private. No, I don't know what that means. Public, non-public. I don't know what any of these mean. Let's set it to non-public. And this is an LOD group, right? Type of LOD array. No, you don't want to do that. Get property. Type of LOD, get property, property info system dot, and then property equals property dot declare type. Like I say, I don't know what is going on here. So, accessing private variables via reflection, how about? Accessing private members, C# and you refuses to give me private fields. Any way to expose private fields, how to get and set variables. Changing private fields of a class. Return target, get type, instance, public, blah, blah, blah. For what matters, this works from my end. What's he trying to do here? C# reflection is going to be private fields. Everyone here's my code. The problem is the first function is now return private fields. It will return protected and even internal, but none of my private fields. So this guy is get all fields, debug log field info length. Weird. I don't know what's going on here. Let's try this. System reflection, static class, public static field info, get all fields. He's actually built these. Target type, get type. Not actually what I'm trying to do here. Target dot get type is going to give me a field info array. Let's not, well, yeah, we'll just comment this out for a moment. Let's see if we can do what was this? Field info array equals LOD group get type, get fields, instance public, non-public. I don't want public actually, just give me those. And then he was looping through them to see what he got. I like to add brackets to mine. Sure, field infos. what is that going to do? Let's take a peek. And I'm already 10 minutes into my lunch break. I already got soup on the stove, though. I just got to heat it up. That didn't debug anything. L group, get type, get fields. Well, that was useful. How about or binding flags dot public get fields. I'm not sure fields is what I'm looking for here, but let's double check. This stuff is still being weird. I don't know why that keeps throwing errors, and I don't actually want these right now. Nothing printing out, so I'm going to turn you off too because you're annoying. Obviously debug.log length is field infos coming out at 0, so the loop isn't doing anything. Prints both fields in dummy. Public class, public private. This is from 2018. Are the private fields in a dummy that we pass in or an apparent type of the system type? Get fields only returns the private members of the type, not the types it inherits from. Interesting. I don't know why exactly it's designed that way, but it is, and my wife is calling me. Moshi. Oh. あ、いいよ。Oh. Says she bought something for lunch. Forgot that we have soup. But that's cool. And she already bought it, so if I complained, I would be in trouble. Non-public. Only protected and internal fields on base classes are returned. Private fields on base classes are not returned. That is why my dynamic util, I search up the base types for private members. Don't know what he's talking about, but let's take a look. This is difficult stuff, but it will be worth it if we can find it. Public static get members for each, what's he doing here? FTP for each variable m in get members if include non-public, which we are hoping to do, get members. Get members. And his private binding is non-public instance declared only. He's using get members though. This is going to give me member info. Whatever that is. Let's take a look. I didn't do his, it's either instance, and these are ORs, so it shouldn't matter. What grabbed everything from the L group. Okay, so it's got 117 members, 116. Size, get LODs, set LODs. There's my force LOD. These are the methods. I'm not looking for methods. Get components, get send, broadcast, get equals, get set to string, get type. Size, LOD count showed up way down there. Rigid body, come on, LODs. Not seeing it. Get particle hinge, get tag, get component. Get game object. Okay, let's see. He did or binding flags declared only. Non-public instance or declared only. Non-public instance or declared only. Let's take a look at that. Again, I've got pretty much no idea what I'm doing here, but sometimes you gotta learn. Well, turning off public gave us a lot less. What did he say? That is why I search up base types. I search up the base types for private members. It should be in the class that I'm accessing, though. I'm pretty sure it's not a parent class. An LOD group is a component, but it's got the LOD array, public LOD array, get LODs, and it's not going to show me that. But there is an actual LODS array in there that's... wonder why that's not visible here. It's just not going to show me things that aren't public. It's not part of component, I'm pretty sure. And this likewise won't show me anything private, because it's all internal. Turn you off. I don't know what that is, but let's dive into this. Dude looks like he knows what he's doing. Get member names. Member info. Type has member. Get member. Direct has member direct. Invoke method direct. Try get value. Get member. Yeah, I don't think member is what we're looking for, honestly. Get type, get members. Aren't we looking for like get properties? Or is it get fields? We were looking at fields earlier. Let's look at get properties. And I'm just not going to change the name there. And we're doing non-public. Length is 0. There's a lot of these binding flags, though. Public, static, There's no way it's static. Public, non-public, instance. Just give me everything. Give it to me. It's probably not smart. Get field, ignore case, ignore return, instance. I don't know how this works. Why did his link go to 618? Private bindings. Get member. I'm not seeing it though. Long running discussion here years ago. Serialize field. Would not, I mean, I thought of that, but there's no way that that's going to work. Serialize field, LOD group, group equals L group. I'm just going to keep at this until my wife shows up, and then I'll take an hour break late, see what goes from there. I've got a doctor's appointment today at 3. So I'm going to have to tap out. Collider name, hide flag, blah blah blah, GUI texture, none of that's all just object stuff. Normal, it's actually the camera. It does show the group, but it doesn't give me its stuff. Be nice if it did serialize. Get field. I mean, if I know it's there, you want to say that I can just grab it. Type of LOD array. Get field LODs. Debug log world field dot what? Attributes. Maybe I want to be looking at something like L group. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. Now that we're using reflection, L group dot get field. I'd look better if I was smart about this, wouldn't I? Let's some way to grab the LODs variable via reflection. Error it out. So it didn't find that. Get constructor custom attributes element type event field. Is it a field? Is it a member? Get interface, get member, get property. I want to say it's a property, but what did we do here? We did field. Let's try get property. And failing that, we'll try member, even though we already debugged all of the members and it didn't show up. He's hanging on the edge there. That didn't work. Get member. Is probably not going to work either. Member info array. That almost acts like it did find something though. That's going to give me member info array, huh? I want to do 0. Well, I better do length. And that's going to give me 0, isn't it? Length to 0. Grid width. Obviously this works in custom classes. Private stuff, but it's a grid width. Not working for Unity internal stuff. It might be C# sided and just totally inaccessible. But you can see them right here. I can access it via debug. I mean, it's got a name and everything. It's an LOD array right there. So close. So close. I'm going to go ahead and start a forum thread. Not something I do very often. If you switch the inspector to debug mode, you can see and edit directly the LOD array in an LOD group that is called LODs. However, this variable is not accessible in any way that I can find, leaving you the only option to set it via set LODs. However, set LODs clamps the values from 0 to 1. Oh, I hit space while that was running. It's going to mess it up, isn't it? Whatever. Hate it when it does that. 1230 backup copy always triggers. However, set LODs clamps the values from 0 to 1, making values greater than 1.0, something that you can do via debug, and something that is quite normal in other engines. For example, with large trees that will reach 1.0 even though you are still 50 meters away. Making values greater than 1.0 impossible to set via script nor via the inspector. Again, this is something that you can do via debug, and something that is quite normal in other engines, for example with large trees that will reach 1.0 even though you are still 50 meters away. Is anyone smarter than me aware of a way to access the LODs variable in the, let's say, private variable in the LOD group component in runtime, perhaps via reflection? I can't figure it out. Cheers. Tags. Do we have any tags? Performance, profiling, usability, workflow. I won't add any of that. And I like to reread my stuff because my English is rapidly deteriorating. If you switch the inspector to debug mode, you can see and edit directly the LOD array in an LOD group that is called LODs. However, this variable is not accessible in any way that I can find, leaving you the only option to set LODs via set LODs. However, set LODs clamps the values from 0 to 1, making values greater than 1.0 impossible to set via script nor via the inspector, nor via the normal inspector. Again, this is something that you can do via debug and something that is quite normal in other engines, for example, with large trees that will reach 1.0 even though you are still 50 meters away. Is anyone smarter than me aware of a way to access the LOD's private variable, LODs, in the LOD group component in runtime? Perhaps via reflection. I can't figure it out. Cheers. Alright, I'm going to leave that there, and I'm going to continue looking around, but my wife is back with lunch in hand. We're going to get some food, and I will be back in an hour. We'll only be able to stream for like an hour or so before I got to go to the doctor's, but we make do as we can. Thanks for everybody that stopped by. Sorry, this was kind of me just going, a bunch, but would be really nice if we could get this to work. Let people tweak the settings however they want, and if not, we'll just force them to max. We'll keep them within the 0 to 1 range